What's up, y'all? It's your girl Jamila Mustafa, and we just did an explosive interview with AllHipHop.com. Don't forget to check it out.
Okay, so I want to get started because I recently heard your podcast with Dear Black Girl. And you were talking about how when you were younger, you didn't like your name because, you used to get teased for it. And me, I have African name as well, so I kind of related to that. So can you tell us a little bit about, more about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, you pretty much hit it right on the head. Like, kids will tease anything, and so, especially when you have a name that's foreign, they would just make fun of it. Like, I mean, your name could be Pickle. Like, Pickle, who want a pickle? So that's pretty much it. And because it wasn't just that it was, like, a unique name, but I didn't know the meaning, so I just genuinely thought my dad made it up. Like, every dad's going to tell his kid that they're beautiful. So I thought that he made up, like, everything, and, like, I always heard just from our personality or just me, like, she has so much personality, she has it. So I just literally thought my dad made it up. My dad literally told me, like, the movie Lion King, when I was, and mind you, I just found this out years ago that it probably isn't true, because it's from the movie Lion King. My whole life I believed it. He was like, yeah, when you was born at the hospital, I raised you up. And I said, you want, or the only thing greater than now. And then it wasn't until I saw Lion King, I'm like, Dad, they did that to the lion. So it's just, I mean, it's an ongoing joke. But it's like, you can get teased for anything. Like, literally, your skin, this. So it was something that, out of all the things I was teased for, it was the only thing that I wanted to change, right? Because, like, people are always going to not like something about you, and you either, like, F you, or you're like, dang, like, I'm insecure. Like, maybe I do wish I was like this, or look like this, or taller, or skinnier, or had prettier teeth, But, yeah, my name, I was like, yeah, I got to get rid of this. They aren't about to be making fun of me. It wasn't until I was in China shooting a documentary and working in China during my senior year that it came to me like, yo,
my name is
Mustafa.
Yeah.
Like, it's to the point where I want to even cut out the Jamila part. Yeah. Just think about it, Mustafa.
It's dope.
You can see it in lights.
Right. So, did you think that now that you graduated from college, 2 years, 3 years later now?
2. Well, spring 15? I never counted years, right? I feel like once you go to school, like, that's how I count my years.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, my year starts in September, not January. So, it's like, technically, May. I graduated May 2015. So, yeah.
Okay, so you graduated from college. Did you think that you were going to be growing to a household name? Because right now you're working with BET, and you also just featured in Forbes 30 Under 30. Did you think that was going to happen?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm only confident because to me, this is like another step, wherever the step is. And so my journey didn't start in college or after college. My first commercial was when I was very young. Like, I started when I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Right.
So you're talking about a 12 plus career. And so in my mind, do you think that you will be where you are? I thought I would be way past this. By now, I would be building a school. By now, I would be getting an Oscar instead of covering the Oscars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I've always been one to try to play in my life 5 or 10 years from now. And so I'm right on track kind of where I want to be in the year of impact. That's really what I'm focusing on. So for me, I think that all the honors, whether I'm being honored, by a small publication, or whether I'm covering something like a Forbes, or being, put in something big like a publication. But yeah, I for sure seen this on the path. My first gig was for Fox for a network series for 3 seasons when I was like 12. So this is all a part of what I've worked for so long.
You had to have an inspiration that helped you with thinking like this, because it's like you're still in your 20s, early 20s at that. So you had to have somebody that inspired you. Who was that?
Definitely, great question. My mom, I wouldn't even say inspired. I don't know where it came. I would say it's God-given. My mom actually, she has sent me this article, right? And it's deep. I'm going to pull it up real quick because it's fresh. It's fresh on here.
Right.
And I always used to get prophesied to, right? I don't know if you believe in that. But a gentleman who passed away very shortly after this. This was in 2007, like right after I had started with the Eagles. And right now we're 2018. This is 11 years old, right? So he's basically saying Jamila Mustafa on Eagles Kids TV show. Basically, I'll skim through it. But he says that one day she's going to be so famous that she hires her family to work for her. She's going to be a household name. And he just goes on and goes on and goes on. Basically saying that, basically that scholarships, Express, Norman Oliver, the popular TV show I had, but what you talk about now, the household name and being successful, this is predictions that I've had. And so those little tidbits of inspiration help me. But I don't come from a place like New York or like DC or large cities where you see examples. Whether it's hard to, and it's hard for you guys because like, oh, you come from New York, everybody's doing it. It makes it harder because everybody's doing it. But at least you have people, even if you don't know them, that you see. You hear their stories, but imagine being from a place where you don't even got a TV show. Like, how you gonna want to be on radio with no radio station? It's one of those things where I really had to use my imagination and honestly just go with what God gave me. And my mother really helped to kind of put those dreams into place, right? So she knew I had to give, but we didn't know where to find an agent. We had to come up to Jersey and figure out what New York was in the audition process. So as a child, I spent a lot of time in New York going to auditions and really doing these things systematically. Before hosting was popular, I was a host. Like, this is 11 years ago. This is what he's talking about.
I wanted to get to that because it's like, do you get frustrated when you see other people trying to do, and it's just like, this is really my destiny, and you're trying to get it for the likes or the views? Does that frustrate you in a way?
You know what's crazy to me, and I won't drop any names, but I'll never forget, speaking on what you said, it was 2014, going into 15, and I was running for Miss Delaware State University, which is the queen of the campus, to be an ambassador. And I had done pageants before this, and I'd never forget when I won, and I worked hard, and things are, like I said, I always plan things out. And one of my friends, you know, like when you got campaigns, it's like get friends against the other campaign friends, the orange shirts versus the black shirts. And my friend, someone approached my friend, and because she was like, yeah, you know, my girl won, and she said, she shouldn't have won, right? And she goes, that was such and such's dream. She took her dream. She wanted this since her freshman year. And my friend simply said, what about Jamila's dream? Was this not in her cards? And so to answer your question, how do I feel about it being a popcorn? Everybody wants to be a host. Everybody want to be a model. Everybody want to be a producer. Everybody, what about their dreams? You know what I mean? Nothing, and I'm a firm believer in it. And the path it's true. I believe in that. What's for me is for me. Same thing with pageantry. There's nothing that I can do to block your blessing that's going to stop you from getting it. Just like vice versa. Nothing's going to stop me from getting it. So it could be a billion hosts. We're going to all be hosting. For real. We can all show up. If somebody tells me, Jamila, the audition line is wrapped around the corner, they're not picking anybody, you think I'm going to turn around?
No.
I'm going to say, great. That's more room for me. And I have always had to think about that because as Jay-Z says, you can't worry about the next man, you got to worry about the best man. And so if I live my life based off of what the next man's doing, when am I ever going to get a chance? Because who's going to rightfully so move over so you can have a spot? If somebody hosts radio, they will be hosting that radio show until they die. They're not going to move over just because they say, you know what, I see you working hard. Let me just give up my mortgage. Let me stop taking care of my children so you can get a little money. We got to fight.
So I want to congratulate you actually because you started your own like kind of HBCU tour, like So I know you were just in Texas. That's actually why I really I'm drawn to you because you say you are a host, but you also give back to the community. So what made you want to start that?
Well, it was a lot, which is funny. So I'm on 2 tours. The stop that you saw me in Texas is with Hall of Fame in NBCA Hall of Fame, and really they're dope. So what they do, you talk about people like Will Packer, and if I say Will Packer, people are like, you know, he's one of the biggest producers in Hollywood, from Ride Along, Think Like a Man 1, Think Like a Man 2, Girls Trip, one of the alums, Erykah Badu. Some of the wealthiest HBCU graduates, billionaires, are part of this association. So in 2015, when I won Miss DSU and I went to go compete nationally, I went to do 2 things. One, win for my school because we're Delaware. Like, we don't really win much. We never really go anywhere. We have that mentality of, I don't want to go because they're always cheating us. We never place top 10. They don't do us right. And I said, they ain't cheating us. We ain't bringing it. You know what I mean? Like, get it together. So, boom. But also, the second thing I really want to do is get close with this org, right? Get in on this crowd because they're very old school and just in everything. You know what I mean? Like, very old-fashioned. And so that's one thing that probably you and I and all of us in this room struggle with, being millennials, trying to break the mold on old-fashioned. And so they went on tour every year, and I remember actually reaching out, and I got curved, like, you know, because most people are like Andrew Young, who's like in his 80s, or they're taking either your civil rights or you're making $1 billion. They're not taking a recent graduate on a legacy tour to tour the world. And I told them, like, look, like, you need me. I'm young and wavy. Like, I need to be there, young, black, and lit, for real, because it's one thing when you see somebody come and speak to you at a school or even like a studio like this. Yeah, and it's like, I know I can get there because I'm already, you know, taking those steps, but I need somebody who just got out like a year or two ago. And they couldn't offer me that. But I was always a part of the family. And I know that, you know, during my time at BET, I was trying to push to even BET. I'm like, look, we need to be on a college tour. Like, we're launching these franchises, we're hosting, and, you know, we need to go back to the community. We got to hit the ground. Like, we need to show them that we're here. We need to pull up.
Right.
They curved it. So I was like, F it, I'm going. And I crazy thing is, I didn't even launch it. The launch is happening next week where I announce it. I just was like, we're going, right? So I locked down 2 schools because I had about 10 schools that were after me for about a year, just come and speak. But I wanted to do it in an organized fashion. So locked down 2. Then I get a call from Hall of Fame. And they're like, hey, we know you're super busy, but we're going on this legacy tour this year. And we really want you to be a part of it. So now I'm sitting here like, I went from no tours to 2 tours.
Right.
And I said, you know what? I'm just going to let you know I'm on my own tour too. Let's do it. And so that's kind of how it happens between, I think it was the demand and the need. And so my tour is really special because the tour that I'm going to, I'm raising money, right? So along with you paying for me to be there, not only are you doing that, but you're also committing that this money and additional money will go to students, right? Because I was a mass comm student. I know a lot of my friends, they either did eyelashes in the dorm. A lot of my homeboys was cutting hair. That's real. You cutting hair. You're creative, right? In college, I'm not gonna say it isn't made for the creatives, but it's uniform, right? College isn't made for the entrepreneurs. College isn't made for the dreamers. They're not made for the ones who are gonna get up and go get it. They're made for the ones who are gonna study all night. I'm not studying all night. I'm working on my plans all night, but we still need it, right? And in certain retrospects. And so where's the scholarships at for us? Where's those scholarships? Who's going to give you $5,000 to create your own platform if the ET or the ETV builder doesn't want to give you the camera equipment and acting stingy? Right. So I said, you know what? When I was a student, that's what I wanted. And so that's what my tour is about. It's not only going there, it's speaking to them, it's giving it to them real, if this is what they want, but it's also saying, hey, I don't have a lot, but with the little I have, with the influence I have, we're going to raise this money, and I'm going to give it back to you guys. And then the legacy tour is just that. I'm surrounded by some of HBCU's finest, some of Black excellence, top celebrities, formers, and some of the richest, most wealthiest people who are African American in the world. So what I'm doing there is just saying, hey, I'm young and I'm lit and I'm here too. Right. And this is something that you guys can fight for and breaking that mold. And so I think for me, yeah, I'll leave it there.
So also I want to talk about, I know a lot of young girls, I speak to them too, they say that they're scared to get in the industry because of the recent allegations with sexual assault, anything like that.
Right.
How do you, like, if a guy comes at you any type of way, what do you do to tell them, like, you know, well, in a rude way, I'm not here for that, I'm really here to work?
What you do at a party? What you do when you're walking down the street?
Right.
You know what I mean? I think the only thing that compromises is leverage, right? Is leverage. When you at a party, they curve them the dirtiest. When you walk in, because it's nothing that you need, right? So it's no leverage. You don't feel obligated, but it's the same kind of thing. And to me, you know, a man is gonna, certain men know already. Don't even try. Come on, you already know the girls who you ain't gonna talk to at, you know, when you see them at the party. You know the people you're not gonna. People know who to mess with, who not to mess with. And if they do, just like anything else, a man will be a man. A woman will be a woman. It's just not, you know, look at gentlemen like Terry Crews. It's just not one way. But I think that, you know, 2 things help. 1, the way that you treat yourself, you carry yourself. And 2, what you allow, what you think is funny. Same thing. You know, if you all cracking jokes and you know that it makes you uncomfortable, what are you laughing for? I'm not going to laugh Because once I laugh or once I let you touch me, and then it becomes a thing where to a man he's taking that as a signal, or he's, you know, because it's hard to this is the entertainment industry. And if you really think about it, honestly think about it, if you take out all the fluff and nut and all this and that, what's the entertainment? Especially music industry. And so that's the sex, drugs, and money. So you take away sex, and sex is selling, right? So a lot of these sex symbols are sex symbols. They weren't always sex symbols,
right,
but they grew to be sex symbols. And so with even that, it's like a woman who may be a porn star, right? Think about how hard it is for her to be respected. She has sex for a living. And so it's just one of those kind of things. It depends. You have to set those standards, right?
Right.
If you are in an uncomfortable situation, say I'm uncomfortable. Put the look, I don't know what you think this is, but this ain't that. And I've been in little situations, even on camera, where I've been uncomfortable. And it may be knowingly, unknowingly, oh, brother, what you doing? All right, come on now. Come on. This how you treat your mom? Would you do that to your mom?
Right.
And if you're going to do it on camera, we're going to talk about it on camera. If you're going to do it off camera, we're going to talk about it off camera. But I just think that's the vibe that I get. I like to push everything to the forward, push it forward. And I just pray I'm never in that type of situation to where it's this or that. But then I don't want to be I don't want to work with a person less like that. I don't want that.
Right.
Next movie for me, girl, make sure I'm drawing on right.
So, it is Women's History Month. So, besides your mother, who else can you say in the media or entertainment industry that has really helped and mold you? Like, when you watched them growing up, anything just reading about them, like, who can you say that helped you with that?
I got a book, and I'm starting to write down more names as I go along. Most recently, my producer for breaks, we're extremely close, Tanya. I learned a lot from her. We just vibe. We help each other. Iron sharpens iron. As you know, Oprah Winfrey. Yeah. For me, I mean, and it's a large spectrum, but when I was on Eagles, LJ Smith, while we were walking, I didn't know who she was at the time. I was young.
Right.
He goes, "You're going to be the next Oprah Winfrey." And that's when I had to then go look her up, because I didn't know who she was. I heard the name, but
really
you're young. You're like 7 or 8. So I'm not, not at that time. I was about maybe 11 or 12. So I knew of her, but I was running home to go see, all that, Moesha, Martin. I wasn't running home to go watch Oprah. It's like somebody like running home to go watch Ellen when you're like 12. You're not, 106 in Park. Like, that's what I was into. And to be honest, I didn't even know what hosting was. I auditioned for that as an actress. And so once he said that, I looked her up. In 2011, I met Oprah. Oprah told me 3 things. I thought they were going to change my life, right? I don't, you get a chance to meet her and you're waiting on it. You're like, okay, she's going to tell me something that's going to change my life. I'm getting the secrets to being successful. I'm going to take over this game. And I know something that nobody else knows. Want to know what she told me?
What did she tell you?
Believe this. First thing, be true to who you are. I said, girl, they say that all the time. Where you are? I'm like, okay, be true to who you are, okay. And you don't know that these things are the most important things. I mean, she was 10 years in advance. So she goes, be true to who you are. And don't pay attention to it. But now you got people, like you said, social media. So even if you're not a social media person, you feel obligated to put your life out there.
Right.
Even if you're not a person that's like this, you feel like, well, I have to kind of do it in the industry now because that's what's going on.
Right.
Even if that's not who you are. You just feel like you just have to kind of do it. Take a step out. You don't have to. Right. Second thing she told me, which now makes a lot of sense, be successful for something. Then in 2011 she used Nene Leakes. Now, remember Nene, she used her as an example. Now, that was when Nene was just a housewife. Yeah. And this is when the whole reality, and think about it. Now she's doing Glee and she's becoming successful for something. But think about it, how Oprah really predicted it years ago.
Right.
Because now, if you genuinely think about it, oh, this person's a social media star. Oh, they're successful. And it's like, we're not talking about being popular. We're talking about being successful for something. What are you successful for?
Right.
And a lot of people who are popular or famous, you can't really tell, like, other than the show that they may have been featured on or something that could have made you laugh, but what are you successful for? And that's when I took that and I made up my motto, which is aim to be significant, not famous.
I like that.
And that's the part of the tour. That's the part of it, right? Because I can easily say I went to a HBCU like anybody else.
Right.
You know, I went there, or say I came from the streets, but I don't see you giving anything back. And you gonna wait till you're a billionaire and trillionaire to where it's a tax write-off?
The little things, by speaking to them, showing them that you care.
There we go. The third thing she told me. Always do the right thing. I said, what you Spike Lee now, girl? But for real.
Right.
And those three things, and think about in the industry, it's almost protocol not to be a snake, but what are phrases dog eat dog bean?
Yeah.
What are phrases like cutthroat? What are phrases like crabs in a barrel? What does those things mean?
Right.
It means that a lot of people are doing something that either they're not morally comfortable with, or that they don't have no morals and they're completely comfortable with it.
Right.
Because it falls under the lines of the industry and the game, right? So you're excused. But who are you?
You know, people like to use business as business.
There's another one, girl. We can go all day.
Right.
But those are excuses to do what? You know, you're being true to who you are, be successful for something, and do the right thing. If you're doing the right thing, it may take you a little longer, but that goes into my philosophy. We'll probably get to that. But yes, that's the person who I look up to, and the list goes on and on. I mean, I admire everyday heroes. I can tell you everyday hero every single day. You know, people that stop me wherever I am to tell me that they inspired me instantly shoots up to me. Right. Because you just don't know. And you know, in this industry is hard, and you deal with so many people who are pretending to not see you win, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? They pretend not to see you win instead of saying I see you, or saying let me help you get higher. And so those are people that I look up to every single day. Every woman that ever gave me anything, I admire. Of course, the immediate woman in my family. Everyone. I like everyone.
So, do you have anything like you want to say about your future plans, especially for 2018?
Yeah, so future plans for 2018 is going to be awesome. So, you know, I just want to expand and go higher. And so for me, it's like, you know, if you would have told me 2000, just last year, we would have done the Forbes and this and iHeart and ESPN and just all those things, I probably wouldn't have been able to believe in it. So this year, all the things that God hasn't planned, girl, that's gonna blow your way. But what I have planned is, of course, continue this tour. Then I'm gonna go on a blitz for homecoming. I'm just gonna sweep the homecoming. We're gonna tear it up. We're gonna host. We're gonna have some fun. Hit those tours. Really build that foundation. Because when I see longevity, is what I want to do is create that relationship with these universities, trusting in someone so young to create a path so that young journalists that are coming behind me, that are just graduating, you don't have to wait 10 or 20 years to be respected, to be brought back to an institution. But I can create a path to where I have these relationships with presidents, whether you're an artist, no matter what it was, so that you can directly reach these kids. And I want to create that. So if somebody's like, hey, Jamila, I want to go on a tour, I can say, hey, boom, here's the connections, here's my spreadsheet, and here's my recommendation. What do you need from me? So that's step one, is to really lock that down and to be that voice for them. Two, I'm launching Media Millennials, which I have an awesome team, and we're getting excited for that. The first thing that I want you guys to support will be small snippets of video content. Then we're going full length. We're dropping series. I want to drop movies this year. I want to shoot movies, and so that's something that I also want to do. And so I'm looking for team members. I'm looking for young, hungry millennials, young, hungry people in media, period, that want to win, and they want to do it collectively. Because like I said, I think I have an advantage of having a hustler's mindset, but also being attached to so many big machines and seeing what they need. And if I can fill the void, why not do it both ways? Why not be independent and be a part of huge machines? So of course the tour, Media Millennials, is something I'm ambitiously, awaiting to drop. Of course, just doing more speaking engagements, covering more things, continue to expand my platform. Seeing, just expanding, just working hard. I want to do more franchises. I want to do more shows. I want to be in a serious television series. I want to do a film this year, a huge film, a box office film. I want to do a lot. I'm going to do it. That's what we're going to do.
No, I really love the energy that you're giving, because it's like, I want to do it and I'm going to do it. Like, I know a lot of people tell you that, like, oh my God, you're going to do it, and I see you doing it. It's just like so amazing. But I really want to appreciate you for having us stop by and have this interview with us. It was great hearing your story. And
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
This is very important. You can cut it in. But this is very important, because this is stuff that I have to tell myself, and I often get people ask, right? Because we live in such a society where everybody's, you see some people who pop and they're so successful, and or you see some people who a year they're just successful, or they've been working for 6 years or 10 years and they feel like they're not getting anywhere, or they feel like every single time they turn around the times are changing and it's hard for them. So I just want to give this piece of advice. You have two options, right? You have an elevator. Now you have to really make this decision. This is a conscious decision that you have to make when you're by yourself and no one's going to judge you. Right. There's an elevator and there's an escalator. The elevator is where we are. This is our time. Our parents grew up on escalator, but right now the elevator has been introduced. You can get on it and you can go right up to the top floor. No matter what you need to do to get there, but you can take the elevator. You're going to get right up there. You can jump right up to the 100th floor. You can hustle, you can grind, you can have that. Or you can choose to get on the escalator. It's going to be slow. It's going to be a very slow journey. Understand that. It may take you 10 years. Really, 10 years. Think about it. Can I really wait 10 to 20 years to get there? But just know you're going to see everything. You're going to meet people. You're going to have people be along your journey. You're also going to see what brings people down. Because you know the escalator.
Yeah, the faster you go up, the harder you fall.
There we go. So I just want to challenge people to really keep in mind that this lifestyle is an escalator or an elevator. Take a look at Tiffany Haddish. She's 47. She just popped last year.
Right.
47. Take a look at Taraji. Then pop until she's in her 40s. I don't even want to, really these past 7 years, really you can count Empire being that role to really put her on.
Right.
And so think about where you are now for all my 20-year-olds, even early 30s. If you don't pop until you're 42, will you still stay committed?
Of course, it's all about consistency though. No matter how hard you put that work in, it's like you don't want to give it up. You can't give it up so easy because that means you didn't really love it in the beginning. Wow, I really like that concept that you use with the elevator and escalator. Where'd you find that?
It's myself. Oh. So this is a part of just short things, short forms, because all of this stuff, like, it's literally what I have to tell myself every day. I wake up at 4 a.m. I'm up at 4 a.m. Up, bright eye up, ready to work. And so I come up with these concepts. I come up with the way to look at life, to look at the game, and it's mental, right? So even physical, when people say, all of this stuff is written, everything I'm telling you is going to happen. Everything's going to come full circle. It's going to happen. I've already thought it out. I've planned it out. And like I said before, that's something that I've decided. And if you think about it, I've been doing it. I'm 20. I just turned 25. I've been doing this since I was very young. Over 15 years. Right. So I've made that decision. And most people think now, like, wow, like, it's not, you are just,
start from back
you just blowing.
Like.
But most people think, and that's a part of the journey, like, some people don't know, and you have to, so some people literally think I started after college. Some people think I started last year and maybe 2 years from now, when I'm on an even bigger platform. Think about 4 years from now, when I might be one of the biggest stars giving an Oscar speech. They might be like, she just came out this year. Where'd she come from?
Right.
And then people who know, like, that girl, I met her back in 2018. So it's just a part of the journey, but it's something to be mindful. And this escalator for me, because I chose that route. Like I said before, I can tell you all the A-list people who I've been at auditions where we've started together, or A-list people who I've had friends who've now retired out the game. Wow. When I'm just getting started. So I've seen the escalator and I've seen the elevator, and I'm around people who've taken elevators and escalators, but it's a conscious decision. There's nothing wrong with both, but just know what you're sacrificing on one end, and another, what you have to wait and get.
So, okay, one more question.
Yeah, I like talking to you. You're really great at what you do.
Same with you. I feel like it's like the conversation is going very well. Do you read a lot as a journalist? Like, what can you say? Is it easier for you to read books, magazines?
Hell no, girl.
Yeah.
You know they said I had AD. They said I had ADD. They said I had ADHD. They wanted me on all type of remedial courses, and I talk about it. When we talk about vision and things. But it's this is what I dream. Like I could. All of this that's on my mind, and I thought something was wrong with me. Genuinely, I thought something was wrong with me at a young age.
Right.
That's all I would just dream. I'm practicing lines in my head. I'm making up monologues. Like I remember I used to look at a piece of paper and read as much as I could read, like as if it was like it was just weird. I just did a lot of weird things.
Right.
But Okay, hold on. Go back to the question because I went somewhere else.
No, it's cool. Do you like reading magazines?
Oh, girl, back to reading.
Yeah.
Now you see what I'm talking about. I'm all over the place. Back to reading. So I say that to say, yeah, I have ADD, as you can see. Mm-hmm. I'm not a reader at all. I'm an audio, so I love documentaries. Like, I'm a visual person. Like, I love documentaries. Like, right. I love documentaries. I believe you can tell a lot about a person by what they don't say, by more than what they do. So I love just looking at things, looking at schemes. I'd rather look at a visual book with no sound. But I also do think that it's important to read. So the things that I like to read, important books to read are like The Alchemist. You know, I read a lot of thought-provoking books that are going to help to sharpen me, not so much just for pleasure. So like, you know, Laws of Power, that's pretty much a classic. Like I said before, The Alchemist, Think, Grow Rich, you know, and then I read books, about our history. You know, Black Panther Black Panther Party was actually the first book I ever had. Wow. Learning about the Honorable Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, Eldridge Cleaver, you know, then Malcolm X was the second book. Assata Shakur, yep. Malcolm X was my second book. So I'm more The Secret. I like documentaries, so I'm more like a visual girl. Like, as you saw, like, you literally asked me the question. As soon as I thought about books, I forgot the whole, it just went out of my head.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna end this interview again. It was lovely having this conversation.
It was great, girl.
You were fantastic.
So
this is again Jamila Mustafa. Catch you on BET Breaks. When do you guys come on Monday?
Every day.
Every day. At what time?
You can catch me on BET Break every single day. So like if you look online, you can catch it 24 hours. If you go to BET Jams or our network platforms, you can catch it from like 10 to 6, and then it takes like a 4-hour break. So if you just kind of watch our jams and watch our shows, you'll be able to catch it. Also, you can catch me on a lot of stuff. So I'll do like event coverage. A new series, Pull Up. We just did an interview with David Oyelowo, who'll be in a new film. He played Martin Luther King in Selma. Pretty much I do a lot of stuff. So any little content, that you see rolling out at BET, you might catch me on it or a few of my co-hosts. And then, yeah, I'm on a lot. I'm just around.
You heard it. She's around. Thank you again, what happened?
At JMedia _, social media.
Say your social media: Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, and Facebook.
I'm at JMedia _. So that's JMedia _. That's Instagram. That's Twitter. Jamila Mustafa, JAMILA MUSTAFA. My first, my last name for Facebook and for LinkedIn. Yeah. And then my website's just JamilaMustafaMedia.com, because somebody stole my name and they wanted me to pay them a lot of money to have it back.
Well, I heard that too, and I was like, I need to, get my website.
Right, they do that. Like they do. They're coming out with all these sites nowadays. They got all this now. They got information on my parents. They got how much I make. They don't even know how much I make. They're just throwing things out. They got wikis up. Yeah, so I don't know where they get this information. Somebody said I was like Middle Eastern from like random states. I get random people from New York are like mad. They're like, Jamila, stop saying you from New York. I'm like, I never say it. I don't know where these sites are getting. I live in New York. Then they get random. That's why now I know you can't trust these sites, because they don't talk to you. They just make these pages and they just put it up there.
Not the same.